Now, yeah, now it's recording.
Excellent. All right.
All right.
So, brother, how are you doing, man?
I am good, my brother. I'm surviving. It's great to be in this place here in Boston, especially now in the summer, getting to
Uh-huh.
see the beauty of it. Although it's really hot and extremely, like it's got extremes. When it's
Yes.
raining, and when it's hot, it's hot. Sometimes the weather is just bipolar, and it's like
For
three
real.
seasons in one day. Yeah, but nevertheless, I'm good, man. Yeah. And how are
Excellent.
things your
Excellent.
side?
Yeah, same. We've had days like where it's just like 95 to 100 degrees for like 5, 6 days in a row
Mm-hmm.
from 10 in the morning until 8 in the evening. So like you just indoors. That's all there is. There's not
Yep.
much else to do. Good. My daughter started first grade, so
Oh,
that's good.
amazing. That's
Yeah,
great,
she's
man.
we did virtual school last year, so now this year we're doing in person. So that's
Mm.
cool. I got my time back, so I can finally start practicing again.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, things are good. Things are good. Cannot complain.
Oh,
Cannot
that's
complain.
great to hear. That's great to hear, man.
How's your
Yeah.
wife doing? She's with you in Boston, right?
Yeah, she's with me in Boston, and
Good.
pretty much has been here trying to also find ways of converting her status so she could work.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
but she's just pretty much been at home and just helping me through all this madness.
Hey.
And yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, but she's good. She got into a improv program called Groundlings,
I've
which
heard
is
of Groundings.
yeah,
That's a
Groundlings.
very
That's
well-known improv program, bro.
yeah. She
Like
got into she
like
got
big
a
names.
scholarship.
If I'm not mistaken, people like the guy who wrote Brooklyn Nine-Nine and
Yes, Melissa McCartney.
yeah, what? That's
Yeah,
huge.
that's huge indeed.
Please
Yeah.
give her my best, my regards and congratulations. That's wonderful, man.
Thank you. Will do. I will do. So she's starting
Awesome.
sometime in the week with that, and I think she's going to be doing a virtual program, and then maybe they might take it in person. But she got a scholarship pretty much to do it, and it's incredible, and
That's
super happy
wonderful.
for her, and she's excited to start that.
Yay!
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's wonderful news, man. Wonderful, wonderful news.
yeah, man.
All right. So, like we discussed in the when we were texting back and forth about what we would talk about, I thought that maybe just start with the regular questions like
Mm.
when did you start playing and who were your early influences and so on, and yeah, you can maybe just take it from there.
From there, okay, cool. So when I started playing, well, music firstly comes from my family. So my dad's also a musician.
Mm-hmm.
So, from what I know, and also from the banners of the band, it always says established in 1995, which is the year I was born. So he decided to start a band. So I grew up pretty much, around musicians. Like I was born in Cape Town in Lusaka, which is
Uh-huh.
all the township just next to the airport.
Okay.
And I grew up our space and living room being half living room, half rehearsal room. You move the couch, put the drum kit, and all those kind of things. But I've got three siblings. I've got a bigger brother and a little brother, and my big
Okay.
brother was already in the band at the time, and my big brother also pretty much like myself, played this instrument and this instrument, and
Mm.
I took the drums over from him and my dad's actual drummer when he was not busy. So how I actually started playing, really self-taught, and
Mm.
I can't recall really learning or saying, okay, cool, this was the process. But what I know is that from a early age, I used to go to concerts with my dad, and
Mm.
at a festival, whatever community function or any reggae or Nyabingi thing, I would be
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
right next to the drummer there, like sitting, sometimes just sitting on stage, just just fascinated and watching them, and like,
Yes.
this instrument is incredible. And
Uh-huh.
like for years I did that. And when I was 6, really, what had happened is that they actually wanted, for some reason, they wanted to leave me at home. They were going to a rehearsal. They're like, I can't come to the rehearsal. I don't know why. Maybe I disturbed the rehearsals or something. But like, it just happened on the day that I couldn't come to the rehearsal. Maybe the car was
Yeah.
full or something like that. I can't remember. But anyways, knowing the route of how to get there,
Yeah.
I pretty much walked all the way from Delft to Philippi, and and also, not taking any shortcuts, but like walking like how the car drives,
Oh, yes.
and
Photographic memory.
photographic, like left the house, turned the corner on Mango, got to the main road, got out, and walked up. And every time I think about it, I'm like, I could have taken a shortcut actually, because my house is there and here's the bridge. I don't know why I had to walk all the way. But anyways, that's pretty much. I was gonna walk in that way.
Yeah.
So I got to Philippi, and I didn't think about the dangers of that actually as well. But also at the time,
Right.
I think our communities were still peaceful and all that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Different
yeah,
time.
it was a
Different
different
time.
time. Yeah. So I
Mhm.
got to the rehearsal, and lucky enough, the drummer didn't make it to the rehearsal. And it's like,
No.
seriously, he was not there.
No.
So it's like, and then, I mean, my dad was pissed off when he saw me. It's like, because he's thinking I'm young, I'm 6, and I walked all the
Right.
way. It's a
Of
journey
course.
that they drive, and but anyway, him being angry. He was like angry that he said, just go and sit on the drums and do this thing that you said you were gonna do. Because he's like, he's angry, but he's saying at the same time, he's just like, okay, cool, you're here.
Exactly.
Just
Exactly.
hold time. But to his surprise, actually, I really knew the music. I knew the repertoire.
Mm.
I just remember that it was the most incredible feeling, of just sitting down there. And the bass player showed me like one thing. I remember him saying, "Just count to 1, 2, 3, 4," and then the snare going on this, and then but like with my short like legs and all that. But I was
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I was there playing that. So at least I held down the rehearsal. So
Right.
then a year later, I think, yeah, I was 7 at the time. The year later, we playing at the Pal Reggae Festival, and I made my debut in the band.
Whoa. And
I think
that's a big festival.
that's a big
That's a
festival,
well-known
man.
reggae
That's
festival.
in front of
Ooh,
all
what a
those people.
debut.
What a day, man. And I remember I was actually tired because those things, they go till late, and as a 6-year-old, there's only much you can take.
Yeah.
7-year-old, I was like really sleepy, and they eventually called the band because also the program is never really set. They can always
And there
sometimes
we go.
reshuffle the band and say, oh yeah, they're still waiting for the guitar player. These guys, okay, let's shuffle the band.
Yeah.
Oh, let's move this. It's like, guys. Anyways, I woke up
Yeah.
from my sleep in the car because at the time, so eventually I had to split the set list with the main drummer,
Yes.
Teaspoon. I don't know if you've ever heard of Teaspoon.
I've heard of Teaspoon, but I don't think I've met him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So now it's actually because now he's Teaspoon. Now he's older. They call him Big Spoon. So,
All right.
but anyways, so he would play the set, then I would get a song or two. But that was my debut playing. Man, I remember I was so
Nice.
tired, I was so sleepy, but like I keep having sort of vivid um, memories of like how the gig went. But I just remember my arm was
Yeah.
sore because at the time, you're playing, your technique is just like that, because the
Yeah. You
highs are
just swinging with
high,
the whole arm.
you swing with the whole arm. So yeah, that went very well. But I remember also hearing this one drummer actually at the festival. Actually, two drummers. Two things happened in that festival for me. Was there
Mhm.
was the one drummer that played with this one band. I forgot what the name was, but he was an elder. But man, the pocket, in terms of
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
drum sound. Oh my God! Like
Right.
at the early age, like I heard that feeling, and it did something to me.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
then after playing, we went back home at I think at around like 2 a.m. and my dad wanted to go back to the festival to watch Azania because they were playing, and
Right. Yeah.
I also was like, I'm going, I'm not gonna stay
You
home.
need to
So
see it. Yeah.
we drove from Paarl to Delft. We drove from Paarl to Delft, dropped the equipment and all that. Those guys who wanted to stay, they stayed, and we picked up my mom
Yeah.
and my dad's friend's wife, and we went back. And actually, photographic memory. Along the way, I told them, "Hey guys, this is not the exit we should be taking on the N1. You're
No.
supposed to take the second one." They're like, "Nah, you don't know anything." They took the first exit. They ended up like sort of what's it now? And when you're heading to Paarl, just after Mbekweni, there is but pretty much I forgot this. They ended on the wrong side of the where the festival was, so they had to turn around.
Right.
And I said to them, "I told you
Oh
guys,
no.
this is not the exit we're supposed to take. We're supposed to take the second exit." But anyways,
Right.
we got there, and I heard Junior man Kisangwa, Junior, right? Yeah, for
Oh.
the first time, and
Oh.
he was still young, man. Oh my god!
Yeah.
And it was
That
just
was
like
trouble.
just watching Azania for the first time, watching Ricky, Wakile, and I think on
Mm.
guitar it was Alistair Gibbs, and he was bolder headed actually at the time, and he was in guitar, and Junior and Judah on lead
Yeah.
vocals. Man, that was
Hmm.
that was the
Doesn't get
gig.
better than
It
that.
doesn't get better than that. And I was like,
Goodness.
whoa, I stayed up that whole night, man, and we watched them play, and it was incredible. And so it pretty much we started playing more often because also my dad's band was a family band. My cousin Unati on bass, my big brother on keyboards,
Yeah.
my two cousins Dweza and Swile on backing vocals. So it was pretty much a family thing, and we had a guitar player
Yeah.
who was a family friend, and and also it was great for my dad. It was his way of just from just releasing and from working and all that, and he would gather
Right.
like,
Yeah.
okay, there's a
Yeah.
rehearsal on this day, it's a family. Like my dad didn't really mind. We would play a gig for $500 in Saron, my bro. And that's just enough for
Yeah. It was
petrol,
just playing and being together.
and being together, and
And
so we played all those reggae festivals, the Paul Festival, the Munabisi, and then the Sunny Ocean, and
hmm
so but like it got to a point where the band was actually getting a sound as well, as a family, as a
right.
unit,
Right. Right.
we were getting a sound, and later on Johnny B, who used to be the main sound provider for these festivals,
Yeah.
called me up. I think now I was already in like high school, he called me up to play with the Realistic Band. That was 2010, and
hmm
then 20 that happened to be the Realistic Band because there's a put together band with him as an engineer. That was
Right.
pretty much Azania, but now with a different drummer and added horn sections and all that. So that
Right. Right.
then I got to meet Wakile and Ricky, and then they called me
Yes.
into playing with them when Junior left.
Right.
So yeah, that's
If I
pretty
can
much.
just jump in there quickly.
Uh-huh,
So there's some heavy names that you dropped there that some people might not be aware of. So
uh-huh.
let's start with the general,
Okay.
Mr. Wakile on
Yeah,
bass.
on bass. So
Um,
Wakile is the band leader and founder of Azania Band, the ghetto
mhm.
sound band from Younger East.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wakile pretty much stayed in Germany for over 10 years and came back, and pretty
hmm
much you name them all, he's played with them.
He's played with them all. That's
He's played with
he's
them all. I will
the
just
first call guy. If you need a reggae sound, he's the first guy you call.
exactly.
Then let's talk about Mr. Ricky Bushula.
Ricky
Uh, I,
Mishula.
I think I met Ricky in the early 2000s in the hip hop scene. He
Mm,
was playing with people like Gardessa and EJ
mm,
Van Lyric and those guys.
yeah,
But obviously you guys met in the reggae scene, and maybe you can
yeah,
talk a little bit about the amazing things Ricky's up to
yeah.
in that area.
In that area. So Ricky, the producer maestro, great mixing engineer,
Hey,
great producer
yeah,
actually, and great keyboard player as well.
yes,
He transcends more than being a reggae musician. Sometimes Ricky will
definitely.
do incredible things and be like,
Yeah.
come up with all these voicings and jazz stuff, and then he laughs at you and says, "No, I'm not a jazz guy." And I'm just like, man, you playing this? He takes
Where
the
did you get?
most.
Yeah.
He plays the most tastiest solos, and and every time it's like the jam session, he's there, and he's got the sound, he's got the touch, and I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
oh, Ricky, and he's so humble, and But one thing I
The
love about
humblest,
him
the most.
is just
Absolutely.
one of the things I love about being him is that I know we're gonna have a good time. He's that
Definitely.
he's very
One of the
joyous.
warmest, nicest people.
Yeah, yeah.
For real.
So he's
And then,
also oh, sorry, I was gonna say. So he's also a founding member in Azania and keyboard player. Yeah, yeah,
wonderful, wonderful. And then one of our brothers on the drums, Junior Kisangwa.
yeah, man. So
Man,
Junior,
that guy. I'm hoping to have a chat with him too.
yeah,
I
he
met him
definitely.
via Claire Phillips when he was playing with Claire and Andre Hope for a while before it was him and Gino.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, man, hey, what a drama.
man.
What a drama.
That's why I was telling you. That concert when I was 7, watching that concert. It
Mm.
just opened up a world to me. I remember when we had been asked as a band to open for Obeja. Azania was backing this artist from Jamaica in a show in Philippi, and they asked my dad's band to come through because my dad had done a demo with Ghetto Sound for a competition that they wanted to get into. So that's how also the link and connection came about. Him, the guys knowing the band. So Junior, watching them, we played the opening and also watched them play. Man, it was amazing. And he had watched me play there, and he gave me these heavy sticks, man. But
Yeah, I know. Junior played 5B. He played those Thomas Langs.
Yep.
He played Buddy Rich. He played big ass sticks, man.
Big sticks, man. I just remember the day I got those sticks. I just remember I played with them all the time. That when I picked up like a normal 7, or it was just like, nah, this is nothing.
Yeah.
I actually,
what is this?
Yeah, this is nothing. So I actually built like endurance and strength from playing with the sticks that he gave me. So incredible drummer from the DRC and incredible producer as well and singer. Played with
great singer too. Yeah. Oh man, that he can sing. Good Lord. Plays nice guitar too.
Exactly. Oh man, he's an incredible musician, man. All-rounder, yeah. So when he went on to play with Jimmy Lulu, I pretty much took over his seat on Azania, and and then he moved to Europe, where he's at the moment. Yeah. I think he's in France or Switzerland. Not a problem. So I think he's in France or Switzerland, one of the two places. Yeah.
Awesome. So if we can fast forward a little bit, I think come to think of it, I think I first heard about you when I was on tour with Wakile, with the band. We were in Germany, I think. And he was talking about we were on tour for a little bit, and he was talking about, hey, there's this new kid playing in Azania, man. And he kept saying this, hey, Andre, he's the one. He's the one. Like, okay, no, I got to check this kid out. So a few years later, I meet my wife, and she was DJing with King Yellow at the time. And so I would always go along to the gigs. And I think you guys played at Marcus Garvey one night.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even sure what it was, but for some reason, there was a live band there.
Yeah.
And I was standing there at the back in the DJ booth, and I'm like, yo, this kid has bucket food. So I was like, yo, no, this is for real,
Oh, man.
And then a few years later, I'm like, oh, this cat's at UCT. He's playing with everybody. I was like, oh, it's the same. Oh, my gosh. So big ups, man. I've been hearing about you for a long time. And as Wakile said, hey, he's the one. He's the one.
Thank you so much, man. I remember that night as well, actually, at Marcus Garvey, and I think also Mike Makwere was playing, and there was Tashito as well.
Yes. He was Tashito all night long.
Yeah,
it was till the early hours of the morning.
Yeah,
man. So how did the jazz thing come about? because like I grew up in a let's call it like a Pentecostal church, and so it was that music to like American gospel
Yeah.
to smooth jazz, and then like bebop jazz and pop jazz was kind of that other crazy thing in the distance. So that was sort of my progression. How did it
Yeah.
come about for you?
So now, being in Delft and pretty much being with my father's band as well, and now I wanted to play more, and my dad's band only rehearsed once a week, and I just remember coming back from school. My aunt got me into a school in Salt River High, and there was no music
Yeah.
program there. I thought there would be, but it's pretty much what we could afford at the time. And also, it was great because it was out. It gave me access to just leave my surroundings.
Yes.
So, so being in Delft, so one of my friends also ended up going with me to the school. So we used to take our bus. The Delft bus takes long, and we took like the Kailicha bus and got off at the bridge in Lansdowne and walked. So he would get home first, and I would walk a little bit, like 5 minutes to get home. But then there was a church just as I left his place, and it just happened that they were playing music. I don't know what was happening really, or the pastor got like some musicians to come and teach some guys, but they were a new church and they were in need of musicians. But like I just got inside because I had drums, and I got inside and I took a peep and I was like, what's going on? But anyways, I went back home. I'm hungry, but coming back from school. I went back home. But the following, I think that happened the next time I heard a little bit of playing again, but now they were playing like Sutu hymns and all that. And when I took a peep, I was like, there's Papi playing, which is a friend of mine who stayed 2 streets from me. Their family are from the Free State. Their gospel, then they played like hymns and like pretty much like Sutu gospel music. And they were at this church, multiracial church, pretty Pentecostal as well, because so I remember there was no drummer there. So I got in and they were playing this music. I was like, they were playing probably like, was it Hallelujah? Go,
That's it.
Playing
that's a classic.
That's a classic. Hallelujah was and he was programming the drums.
Did they remix it into like 5 other tunes as well?
I can't remember actually, but I just remember that my brother is bad with the transposer. He'll catch the singer anytime, so it would shift up and down according to what the singer is doing. If the singer was flat, he'll just figure it out and just shift it. So
you had to be very good friends with that transpose button.
Yep. But so what happened is that he was programming the drums and there was a drum kit there. So I got in and I was just like, actually, I can play. And the guys looked at me. It's like, and then this one pastor at the church, he's like, you can play? It's like, yeah, cool. Let me sit on the drums. So, I mean, I had been listening to a lot of music growing up, from like reggae, from, my dad shop. My dad ran a spaza shop in Yanga East at a taxi rank, and opposite it, there used to be a guy called Smalls who ran a cassette tape, who sold cassettes. So there was music playing all the time. So all this music I pretty much kind of, heard and all that. So I could hear the rhythm and the pattern that song needed. So I played for them. And immediately the guy put me in this car and he's like, we're driving to your house. We're going to ask your dad if you could be a part of our church. So they got to my place and my dad was busy cleaning his car. And the pastor is like, hi, sir, we just want to, hi, this is my name and whatnot. We run a church here and we'd like to ask if your son can join our church. He plays really good drums. And my dad just looks at him and smiles. He's like, okay, it's fine. You can take him.
Nice.
You can take him. So I started playing at the church. And at the church, and what had happened is that more musicians came along. I remember the brothers Neil and David. Neil, great singer, and David, a great guitar player, and they had a friend called Cheslin, and Cheslin also a good guitar player. So then those guys pretty much introduced me to like Jonathan Butler, and they were listening to urban gospel. It's pretty much sort of your journey in a way. They were listening to urban gospel, and they were listening to the Winans, and they were listening to all the smooth stuff.
Yeah, now you're
Yeah.
talking.
And
Now you're talking.
and they showed me Aaron Spears, man. I remember that Caught Up video
Woo!
with Asher. I
Caught
was just
up.
like,
Caught up.
oh, and I was just like,
Everybody got caught up in that video.
everybody got caught up in that video. Yes.
Everybody.
Because the guys were hip to it. They were downloading all this stuff, and they were listening to all this amazing.
Yeah.
And so Cheslin gave me a DVD, and this DVD had a bootleg concert of Jimmy Lulu live in Lugano. So
yes,
you know the concert, right? Jimmy live in Lugano. It was like one of those two what do you call it, 1 in 10 in 1 videos where you get like one DVD of 40 concerts, but like there was 2 concerts. That one live in Lugano, and there was the Jonathan Butler concert live in Cape Town. I think it was the Homecoming DVD that we shot.
Yes.
Yeah. So man, when I saw Frank Parker for the first time,
there we go.
There we go. I was just like,
that guy's responsible for a lot of trouble in Cape Town with drummers.
Man, when I saw Frank Parker for the first time, dude, I watched that entire DVD, and I was like, I watched it back to front, and to a point where I actually knew, all the songs, all the arrangements, all the guys' solos, to the bass player, I think it's Alvin Hendricks, his palm technique, how the bass sounded, like Shaggy doing all those pads, and Tony on percussion. I was just like, oh my God, like this is incredible. So my transition, from reggae to that also comes from the Twist of Mali, the album with Star Band. It's like I've been listening to Bob Marley a lot, and now suddenly I'm hearing all these other different versions of it. And then getting into church and meeting with these guys, and it's like, okay, this is jazz. And then I had the opportunity to play with the guys like Ricky and them. They would play some jazz as well, and in Younger East at Zolani Center, Stephen Sokuyeka, the trombone player. He played with Buddy a lot, and his father used to run this trumpet, this brass band there. They used to run this brass band and playing pretty much South African jazz, from songs like "You Think You Know Me" by Ezra and Mankutu, but they didn't have
Crossroads
and all that. So they didn't have a drummer back then, but like they would rehearse, and every time I'd come back to school and work, I worked at my dad's shop as well. While being at school, I used to help out there. So they would play at Zolan Center, and I would go and watch these guys play. And sometimes they would have a drummer, and they would have like brastiks so, and they used to have these concerts at Mapindi in the townships, at Mapindi. So I remember the one festival called Creative Arts Nyanga East. That was an incredible festival, man. It was an incredible festival. It had local bands. It had the Ladies Mandumbazana group ran by Titi. Someone Khordbom, we're all ladies band with marimbas and playing. And Azania played there as well. I think it was still junior, and they played pretty much the Twist of Mali, that album that I'd been listening to. They, so they pretty much, they could fit anywhere. So, adding all of these, being in all these places. So I got introduced to jazz, and Ricky asked me to play with Fancy Galada at Marco's place.
Fancy!
Yes, this is Fancy Galada, man. Oh, so she used to.
If I can just jump in there quickly, I got to work with Fancy in a band as well for about 2 years, and man, that lady lights up a crowd every time.
Every time. Indeed.
Even when she's sick, even when she's not feeling great. There's the switch that she can turn on, and she can light up any crowd. Like we've played gigs where people came to watch World Cup cricket, and by the end of it, they were singing "Doobie Doobie Doo" with us.
Definitely, that is definitely Marco's place, man. Every time we were there,
Marco's place.
it was a concert. So I got to play with her there, and that's where I learned vast of my repertoire actually. Because
Mm,
like for those gigs, the guys are not gonna get into a rehearsal. So
no,
having
no.
Ricky on my side, he'd be like, oh yeah, it's a bossa. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I started playing
Yeah.
with Hopi in the gig as
Oh
well.
yeah,
So
Andre Hope.
and Andre Hope,
Hey,
yeah,
love that
yeah,
guy.
man, what a group player. Woo! So
Yeah.
we played together
Hmm.
there as well. So that's where the jazz came from. And when I'd finished high school, pretty much I knew what I wanted to do. And my high school not having a music program, um, luckily, there's that subject called arts and culture in every school in South
Right.
Africa, and they had a teacher called Mr. O'Connell, and he played music by ear, and I could relate to him in that way because I was not trained, and
Yeah.
so, and he would play this jazz stuff in class just to get the students, in. And so I
Mm,
wanted
mm,
to spend time with him every interval, every break. I was just there, spending time with him. He would
yeah.
play, and then he retired, and then another teacher, Mr. Brown, came in, and who was more classically trained, and I started taking a
Mm,
little bit of piano lessons with him. And but then he also
nice.
left, and then there was another teacher who came who studied at UCT, who is now incredible classical pianist. Like the chops, man, the flight of the bumblebee kind of stuff. Where I'm
Oh,
just like,
oh, get out of there.
oh my,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, what is going on? So he was like, man, you should go to UCT, and I'm like, oh yeah, that would be great, like because most of the time, especially maybe I would hope that it's better now. There's always been less access of information. When you are in the townships,
Yeah.
you don't know things.
Yeah.
You think it's always impossible, but like also you don't have the right
That's
people
it.
in your surroundings to say,
Around you. Yeah.
yeah, around you, that to say, but they don't need you to know how to read music. You're gonna learn how to read music
Exactly.
there. Just that simple
Yeah.
thing changes someone's world. Um, so
Definitely.
so while being at Salt River High, Ronell, Mr. Brown
Hmm.
taught at Alexandra St. High School, and
Hmm.
he that's where, because Alexandra St had a big band, like the Little
Yeah.
Giants. Yeah. So he
Yeah. Yeah.
invited he invited them to come and do a concert at our school
Excuse
for
me.
Valentine's Day, and said to them,
Uh-huh.
well, yeah, and they came to play, and I was just like, "Ooh, there's this band," And I went to Ronell, I was like, "Can I play?" I'm just like, "Can you play drums?" I was like, "Yeah, I can play." And and my teacher didn't know I could play drums because he knew that I was interested in piano. I was like, "Yeah, let's.
Piano.
What song do
Yeah.
you want to play?" It's like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "Let's play Pata Pata," but like, I just remember my school being on my side immediately when I got in there, man. I'd stay after school, and Ronell, after that, Ronell wanted me to come to Alexandra to transfer to Alexandra St. High. But
Mm,
because I was grade 11 already and close, my principal said no, because you're about to
yeah.
finish and you don't want to change your rhythm and be in a different place
Right.
where you might sabotage your grades and all that. So then eventually I finish high school. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to get into UCT. I didn't study music, but I had been I'd been taking books out at the library, at the central library, just to teach myself how to read and all that,
Yeah.
and got acquainted with with some guys at the Delft Big Band, or Delft Big Band
Nice.
bass player Brandon Hendricks came and played at our church, and so I became best friends with him. We're still friends now. Incredible
Right.
bass player. So he had
Oh,
been
that's
trying.
awesome.
He had been trying to get me to come and play for the Delft Big Band, but there was drummers at
Mm,
the Delft Big Band. There were two drummers already. The seats were taken, and also
right.
I think the program was kind of far out from. I'm in Suburban and they in Voorburg, so it's kind of a distance
Oh,
and all that. So I was
it's a
just
while.
like,
Yeah. To take
yeah,
this out.
but anyways, we played together in church, and eventually got acquainted to Ian, and also like where I got validation that actually what I'm doing was right. When I started teaching myself to
Mm,
read, is that they needed a drummer for a rehearsal, but like the normal drummer was not around. So Brandon's like, man, there's charts, you'll be fine. So I get there and I'm
yeah.
like, whoa, man, sheet music. So, and I'm like, okay, cool. So we start this rehearsal, but like I'm playing by ear, but at the same time, I actually can see what's going on because I'd been teaching myself this and kind of, but like because no one in my community was doing, that playing with sight
Yeah,
reading, but like
yeah.
I'm like, and
Excuse me.
so Ian said, actually, you kind of see what's going on, I can
Mm,
hear you see where to stop and where to pause and whatnot. So I mean, that gave me the validation that, oh yeah, okay, so
nice.
now I think at this point I am in the jazz community now. Like I'm playing
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
playing big band stuff, you know. So
Nice.
so I took a year off to study piano at jazz workshop, hoping that I would
Hmm.
learn some music theory, then that would aid in me getting into UCT. And I actually
Right.
auditioned at Copa with you as well, the one year.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
and
remember. I
and but
remember.
and I know I got accepted, but then it was the finances. Yeah, it was.
Yes.
I actually also auditioned at CMI, and I remember it being the same thing. I was just like, "Ooh, this is quite too steep." So my dad ended up
Yeah.
giving
We
me.
unfortunately, like, I was so bummed, man. I was like, yo, guys, we cannot miss out on this cat. And that they couldn't make it happen. So, which I
Mm,
think was probably for the better, which is
yeah,
probably for the better. So,
yeah,
it
yeah.
ended up the way it should have been.
Exactly. So I took the year off, just being at jazz workshop. I didn't finish the year actually because, well, my dad gave me some bucks and it's like, so I registered for like 3 months of classes, but I ended up doing probably less than that, or just the 3 months. Then I was working with
Hmm.
a spoken word band, playing piano and guitar and singing with them. Uh,
Okay.
they did concerts at Baxter, and I played one gig with MXO, and so this gig with MXO was,
Yo, MXO.
yep. So I played this one gig with MXO through Mali Planga, and I remember this gig we had to we couldn't rehearse. He sent the music, flew from Joburg in, but the problem was we couldn't rehearse. So we had to listen to the music and just get to to the sound check and check it out.
Right.
And few of the guys really didn't have enough time to check
Didn't.
the music out.
Yeah.
So, but on tenor there was TS. I think you studied with TS,
Oh,
tenor
check
player.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Teke, yeah.
I forget what his
So
last name is, but
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So Teke is just like, yo, bro, I think it's not gonna work. But you know what? Just take the drummer and guitar player, Eric, and let's head to UCT. He immediately called a couple of cats, and this is my
Yeah.
first time. That's how I entered UCT, to just
Right.
to do this 30 minutes rehearsal before we. I'm gonna put on a charger quickly.
All right.
Yeah.
I got some coffee.
So we
All
rehearsed at
right.
UCT, man, and I met Smooth Lamini, piano player. Ooh,
Yes, yes, yes.
beautiful pianist,
PhD.
man, PhD. And man, I just remember him saying, "Hey, man, I didn't study music too before. I got here, and I did. I studied it here. I could never
Hmm.
read, so I was like, okay, cool. So it was things like that. So when I took that year off, I applied and I got in, and I started my. I graduated high school 2013 and started my first year in 2015,
Yeah.
being at UCT. So when I got to UCT, man, it opened up another world, which is
Mm, mm.
incredible. Like, I mean, I studied under Frank Mellows, and for me, it was a great experience then because then he was like the first drum teacher that I had,
Yeah.
and he was going to teach me exactly what I wanted to learn, how to read
Mm.
music.
Yes. There we
Yeah,
go.
I remember like a couple of quarrels with a couple of guys in
Excuse me.
the department and whatnot, but I was just like I couldn't compare that to anything because some of the guys came from high schools that had music programs and they knew what
Mm.
needed to be. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't have any expectations, but what I know is that
Right.
this person is here hired to teach me, so I'm going to learn from them.
Yeah.
So I did that. On my second year I wanted to be in the big band, so I went up to Campbell's office, like, what do I need to do to be in the big band? He's like,
Yeah.
well, you're on your way there. So I got into the big
Nice.
band. Got into the big band. I did a diploma at UCT, and in my third year, I was pretty much playing with all the guys, and as well as I
Mm.
had now developed also a compositional sense where I actually I've
Yeah.
I've always been a creative person. I loved creating, but for somehow jazz kind of like opened that voice,
Nice.
and understanding how to put this into paper and actually be able to share it with other musicians and explain it to them, and
Yeah.
then taking it out and this music coming to life was just mind blowing for me. And yeah, it was
Wonderful.
amazing. So yeah, that's pretty much how jazz came about, man, and was
All
pretty much
right.
now a part of the jazz and the reggae community and the pop community and
Yeah.
the African music.
Nice.
I was active before coming into UCT,
Yeah.
and so it just kind of extended the network, and yeah, it's
Yes.
just incredible. It's actually what I dreamed of, being able to play with people and play with a lot of people and just
Yeah.
learn from everyone. Yeah.
That's excellent, man.
Yeah.
Now, we can talk a little bit about the let's say the experience of, like, I mean, we're both from Cape Town,
Yeah.
and I'm here in Dallas, you in Boston, obviously different places. And just on a musical level, like the first couple of gigs that I went to here in Dallas, I was like, where's the nearest hole that I can crawl into and just squeeze myself into there and disappear, because these
Mm,
cats are not playing, man. Like,
mm,
I mean, I went to one of those jam sessions where like you pay money to get in, you
mm.
put your name on the list. Like, these weren't even the gigging cats. These were just
Just
like
the
the
jammers.
trying to get in cats, the day job cats.
Mm.
Yo, Unity, I was like, hey, I like, and I didn't even have a drum kit at that point yet, because obviously I had
Mm.
to sell stuff to move here. But I was like, yo, this is gonna be a problem because these guys are bad, man. And so, that that was a good experience for me. Like, I mean, it was up and down, but I
Mm.
think in general it was a good experience to just um, be exposed to like the real thing, basically.
Mm.
Like, I mean,
Mm.
I don't want to name drop, but like there's some of the best drummers in the world ever come from this town, and then there are easily maybe 50 odd cats that most people outside of Dallas have never heard of, and they are just like monstrosities behind the kit,
Oh, wow.
and so that was like mind blowing for me. Can you maybe talk a little bit about what it was like being at the hallowed halls of Berkeley, and what it was like walking around there and hearing some of the cats in the practice halls?
So, um, so I got here in winter, January, and my first semester was pretty much hybrid. I had two classes in person. That's my ensemble and my private instruction, and the coursework is online. But the practice room. So coming from South Africa and being at UCT, we pretty much have like two drum practice rooms in the entire university. Yeah, and when I got in, it's like I went to the basement, and I'm just like, oh my God, man, like there's this brother I was talking to from Ghana called Shadrach. He's also at Berkeley, incredible drummer. Nice feel. And I'm like, what is going on? It's like you walk into all these rooms and everyone just sounds great. It's like guys are just like tearing, whether like the guys are like doing metal stuff, heavy metal, jazz or
Mhm,
pop,
mhm.
all that, or alternative, whatever they're checking out, it's just like, oh my God, there's a bigger pool,
Yeah,
and there's a bigger pool, and therefore um, I guess there's like a healthy competition of, cats just really wanting to be good, at the
Yeah.
instrument.
Yeah.
So when I got here, man, immediately I met some of the most incredible musicians and drummers. I met this one cat from Switzerland called William, like Thomas Lang.
Oh boy.
Bro, and I'm just like, yo, hey, and this cats are young, man. It's like
If
eight.
you can just pardon me for a second, I
Okay,
just need
not a
to
problem.
plug my phone into
Okay,
where
cool, no, definitely.
the battery is. All right.
Yeah, so I'm like, also these cats are young, man, and at this age, and I'm just like, whoa, what was I doing? you know, like fluidity, technique, sound, just
Yeah.
dexterity, just
Mm,
the flow. It's just there, and I'm
right.
just like, oh my God, this is gonna be an interesting time. It's gonna be amazing. But also, I mean, also, there's some cats also just like learning and all that. But once I
Yes. Yes.
really found sort of my group and kind of guys that I wanted to be playing with, just like,
Mm,
man, there's some amazing musicians. The bad part is that I didn't get to experience Berkeley the way my first semester the way it is normally in
okay.
terms open and all that, because with all the
Mm,
COVID restrictions and
COVID
all that,
restrictions.
yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of the guys apparently didn't come back, and people chose to be at home, and
Mm,
so I didn't. There were no jam sessions per se,
okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
That
there were
that's a
no.
big thing that I've heard about
Yeah,
part of being there is that the jam sessions are really where things
yeah,
cook and you
yeah.
get to see what's happening.
Exactly. Like people
Right.
kept on talking about Wally's, talking
Mm,
about
mm,
other places, but like all those places are still kind of closed. So like the first gig that I went to go and watch was at the Lily Pad. I watched,
I've heard of Lillipad. Yeah.
yeah, I watched Jerry Bagonzi, man, quartet, and the Fringe. The Fringe had Tara Lynn, um, and had John Lockwood, the South African
Oh.
double bassist, and
Oh.
on tenor, I forgot his name now, but I forgot his name actually. Yeah, and man, two sets that I watched at the Lily Pad, and Jerry Bagonzi, bro, whoo, played with this drummer called Luther Gray. I remember his
Okay.
name. It was like that's when I started feeling like, and it was just the beginning of summer. That's when I was just
Yeah.
like, I just came back from a concert now. Yeah, this is where it is. And
Yeah.
watching the Fringe, and it was just like, I'm like, okay, cool. We're in the United States
Yeah.
now. It's like
Yes. Yes. The musical
yeah,
baptism.
the musical baptism indeed, and 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 then we started. I've been jamming with some cats and meeting new people like almost every day. Um, and there've been a couple of virtual things that have been happening, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, people are great here, man. I had to do an audition for a Global Jazz Institute program, and I asked this double bassist from Atlanta and another Boston kid called Jason Garb, as a trio to help me record, do some
Mhm.
audition tapes. Man, I was mind blown myself. It's like, okay, it's just
Yeah.
I'm speechless, and like I'm just like, these are the musicians that I have access to now, and I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
happy to be to immerse myself in this culture, and meet
Mm,
more musicians and play with more musicians, and just learn from everyone really. So I'm still yet to watch more concerts, that's for
okay.
sure. So far, I've seen a couple of virtual shows, and I've been jamming with my brother from Mozambique, Albino B. Oh
Yes.
man,
Yes.
incredible guitar player, and he plays with this bass player called Ebinho Cardosa from Brazil.
Uh-huh.
Man,
Brazil is like the incubator for crazy bass players right now.
dude,
Like, I mean, from
I think Scott Space
it's
did
nuts, man.
did like a thing about that. I saw something on Facebook, Scott Space saying, "What's up in Brazil?" You know, all the bass
Yeah,
players.
yeah.
He name dropped all the Brazilian bass players, and I was like, man,
From Abram Laborio to Michael Pipoquinha to just
man.
man.
I mean, one of my favorite drummers who's from Brazil, Edu, man. I watched him at
Edu.
Edu Ribeiro, man. I watched him
Don't
at the
start with
National Arts
Edu.
Festival at Grahamstown at the Youth Jazz Festival, man. I was just
You
like,
saw him?
I saw him live with Trio Corriente, bro. With what's the bass player, Fabian, and I think it's Paulo or something.
Yeah.
I might be saying the name wrong, but like
Corriente has been
Trio
blowing my mind,
Corriente,
bro.
bro. And I was just like, you know, those 16s.
That's sideswiped him.
That's bro. And these guys, they played and left Edu on stage for like a good 10 minutes. And within the 10 minutes, he was able to capture the whole auditorium, you know, like in his solo, just like, you know, playing the language and he just, you know, nothing was boring about the entire solo, but everyone was just kind of sitting there at the auditorium at DSG, just like with their jaws dropped. And I'm like,
Edu is bad, man. Edu's I'm really inspired by Edu. Like, there's something about some of the cats from South America, like Brazil, Cuba, where, man, the way they take their rhythmic heritage, and just go 25,000 miles down the road with it is nuts, man. I have a friend who studied with Daphnis Prieto for one semester, and he was like, that one semester was I tap out. I don't know how Cat studied with him for 2 or 3 years. He was like, you know, you see something like, you'll play this weird 15/16 thing with something against it, and you'll be like, but how can't you hear this? How can't you do it? Like, I just told you what I'm doing, so now you know what I'm doing, so you do it. It is like, no, I don't come from that. Like, no. No, Edu is serious, man. There's a friend that Edu also talks a lot about. He's on Instagram called Ramon Montaner. You must see what this guy does with 2 sticks in one hand.
I follow that guy as well.
No, man, no. And it's not even, he's not even doing like crazy. He's playing actual rhythms.
Exactly.
He's playing actual rhythms. Like, you can look at it and say, yeah, he's playing this, he's doing that.
It's a third hand.
One thing I saw, he was doing a paradiddle, and then playing some other stuff between the feet, and then improvising with the right hand. I'm like,
you know, they crazy, man.
I love it. I, as like a drum nerd, drum geek kind of guy, I love that. It absolutely kills me.
Yeah, man.
Kills me.
And actually, recently, I watched 2 concerts. I went up to New York on the 9th to celebrate my wife and I's first year anniversary. And
congratulations!
Thank you, man. So we watched Isaiah Sharkey, man, at the Blue Note.
I don't think I know who that is.
The guitar player Isaiah Sharkey from the Chris Dave and the Drumheads.
Okay,
man,
I need to check him out. I know the Drumheads, but I didn't know he had his own project.
Yeah, he's got his own project, and he's an incredible singer. Oh my God. Oh man, I actually like Nathan Carolis introduced me to him. That's how I knew him and got into the whole Drumheads thing. And I watched them live, man. What a great gig.
Nice.
Solid. And then recently, a week ago, I watched Mike Stan at the Berkeley Performance Center. It's like all these people are just around here, man. They, you know, and I'm just like, I'm trying to decide now, but like I don't have the bugs the Roots is playing at the House of Blues in a couple of weeks from now. Actually, on the 29th, on Sunday, they're playing at the House of Blues, and I'm just like, Like,
Hey, bro. Herbie Hancock is going to be here on the 2nd of September with Vinnie Colaiuta. And
ooh.
Vinnie Colaiuta, James Genus, I think Terrace Martin,
Mm,
and I almost think Thundercat. That
mm.
was the first poster they put up, and then they took it off. But Vinnie, I've never seen Vinnie. Hey,
Yeah,
bruh, the,
you
the
know,
first
whenever.
major gig, the first major gig I saw here was the Kenny Werner trio with Ari Hunig,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
oh,
he's an
like
incredible player, man.
I think that was one of the gigs that just kind of put me on notice. As like, that expression, there's levels,
Yeah,
but there's levels to the levels. You know, like where where they can go in that thing where they're just playing completely free, and Kenny Werner's half laying off the piano, and he'll play three notes, ping and ding
effortless,
or something, and the band,
effortless
and they
mastery,
start
bro.
swinging.
Yeah. I was gonna say, oh man, now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, there was the Newport Jazz Festival, but I didn't know much. I didn't know much
Oh,
about it. I wish I could have. I could have went. It's not far from here. It's in Rhode Island,
uh-huh,
but I didn't know much information about it. And when I
right.
heard like some of the students at Berkeley's like, oh yeah, Newport Jazz Festival. I'm like, what? I wish I knew. I would have probably
That's
been there. But
that's so
I
crazy.
look forward to discovering more music, man, and watching. You know, I just love watching
Yes.
concerts. That's just one of those things that just make
Yeah.
me, you know,
Yeah.
like I love watching concerts, man.
It's
Yeah.
incredible. I will say something that I really love about Dallas, and obviously with COVID, that's a bit tricky,
Mm,
but there's a lot of live music, and like the standard of drumming is stupid high. Like
mm,
there's a long tradition of like marching bands, like drum corps, like
mm.
long tradition. Apparently, Texas has the biggest school music program in the country. I'm speaking under
Oh.
correction, I could be wrong. Um, and then also all the football games have field bands that come out, and Texas is a
Mm,
big football state. Then there's the long tradition of blues, the long tradition of country, the long tradition of
mm.
gospel. Like it,
It's the place to
and
be,
then you
man. I
have
need to
schools
come
like
there.
Booker. Excuse me.
I need to come there, man. I told you already. It's
Hey,
like we need to make a
you
plan.
absolutely must. So it's like you can go to a jam session or to a gig, and like just randomly one of the heavyweights from the scene will walk in, and people will be like, oh, and they'll chill and might come and blow a song or a chorus or two, and just
Mm.
and so it's like it's just so like it's a community that was very welcoming, very open,
Mm.
um, and I think there's just like this push, like people are always busy, like they're
Yeah.
busy with this project now, playing with these five people, and then you see a poster, new project, other people,
Mm.
or reviving this project from 2015, come
Yeah,
through,
yeah,
or
yeah.
so it's really interesting to be in like a completely different scene altogether from what we came up in Cape Town,
Mm.
and just see the different dynamics. Obviously, like a bigger city,
Yeah.
University of North Texas is like an hour and a half down the road, with
Mm.
the 1 o'clock lab band and all that stuff, and it's just crazy. So it's been a great experience for me,
Yeah, yeah.
to just be around this, and like I said, man, my butt got kicked. Like I've been practicing like I've never practiced in my life before, just to be alright.
Just
That's
this,
just so
just
people can say, yeah, he's alright. Like I'm not there yet, not by a mile, but if I get to alright, then I'll
mm.
be
Yeah,
woo.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
said I'm alright. that's that's
Yeah,
where we're at.
man. And you were saying with like the snare drum tradition and all that, like I'm seeing it more often now. Yeah, it's like it's such a great thing to have in schools. Like, you know,
Yes.
the students that come from those kind of programs. You know, you
Yeah.
can you can see their hands, man. They just,
Hey, brother. Yeah.
they've got great hands. I follow this guy Tommy Igo, and I think
Yeah, 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 I know
yeah,
Tommy Igo.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
and he's got this
Essential
other
grooves.
essential group, but he's got this other. I think I don't know if it was his teacher or they used to do marching band stuff together, but like the stuff that those guys do sometimes, with just like snare drumming.
Oh, the two of them on the pad? That
Yeah.
might be his dad. I've
What?
seen videos of his dad used to be
Yeah.
like a show drummer in LA, like big
Ah.
stage shows, TV shows. Yeah, his dad was big, 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 big. I forget what his dad's first name is. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, his dad's like
Mm,
solid,
mm,
solid,
mm,
solid
mm,
drummer
mm,
back
mm,
in the
mm.
day.
Ah,
But
that's
yeah, man, I saw that too. It's like cats just have hands, man,
they have
and they
hands.
forget. They
Yeah.
forget. They play a role and it's like, and you go, huh? And they go, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
because everybody does it,
Yeah,
you know.
if
So,
there's one thing I would say I would want to actually take back is actually that kind of thing of, having that kind of relationship with a practice pad and just kind of like
mm,
having programs that are just dedicated to, because sometimes like some people don't have they understand rudiments as like scales or some things that they have to practice, but like,
mm,
the relationship of actually loving to do that kind of thing,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it just being like one of those things that you just do. It's sometimes not there.
It's
Yeah.
I totally agree. And I mean I remember when like in my community when I was growing up
Mm.
and learning stuff, there was a negative attitude towards rudiments because people are like, I don't want to be I don't want to sound like a marching band drummer, or like those guys
Mm.
don't have groove and those guys don't have pocket and things like that, which is true to
To
an
an
extent.
extent, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
I would say obviously, like with anything, the balance is like how much time do you spend working on that, how much time do you
yeah,
spend working on the other thing.
yeah,
But for me, I think I fell in love with the practice pad over the drum kit too much because you could play the pad anyway, like
yeah,
I would just
yeah,
walk
yeah,
up
yeah,
Table Mountain or up Deer Park pads all day. It's just
yeah.
so much fun. And um, something that I'm learning now, and it's something I'd like to ask you too. Something that I'm learning now is like a lot of the ideas that I kind of half baked for the last few years, like
Mm.
have this idea, practice pad, put it away. Like now I'm spending time on the actual drum kit.
Yeah.
And like you said, I'm discovering this relationship of like, whoa, you can take rudiment X and start like putting maybe 2 or 3 limitations on it and say,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this and that and the other thing. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
And then try to, so I've been finding so much value in that. Like, I think the first rudiment I even ever heard of was a paradiddle,
Mm.
and and just recently, like as in 2 months ago, I stumbled on a way to flip a paradiddle that's just so musical. I'm sure other
Mm.
people have heard this a million times. They're like, you only heard about this now, but I'm like, yeah, I only discovered it now. It's new to me. I play
Yeah.
it all day. I love it. Is there anything that like is in your hands right now that you just can't stop playing, whether it's on a practice pad, on the kit? Like, is there something
Mm.
like that for you?
There is actually. So, at the moment, I've been. I was saying, look, I had an incredible private instructor at Berkeley for my first semester. I had Professor John Hazilla. He's like a
Right.
brush guru, man.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
I'd
you
like to
know,
talk about that.
he paints. It's like Tai Chi,
Hey.
bro. It's poetry. So, what I actually, funny enough, that when I was assigned to him, when I did my placement audition,
Uh-huh.
and I said these are the things I wanted to work on, and they assigned him to me. And when I got there, I wrote a couple of things that I wanted to work on, and we first I got to his room, and we introduced ourselves to each other and started talking. And before we could go in, he was like, "Hey, let's just sit on the drum kit, could you play me this, play me that, play me this, play me that?" And he was like,
Uh-huh.
okay, cool. These are A, B, C, D things we're gonna work on. I was just like, dude, that was my identical list of things that I wrote down.
Nice.
It's like I don't want to change any of this, but like
Yeah.
we're gonna work on these things.
Nice.
And so like he he made me really fall in love with like just um taking rudimental stuff and just kind of like dissecting them and orchestrating them and just kind of having what we're talking about, the relationship with them, and being like
Yeah.
exactly what where people are like, oh, you're only learning this now. It's like, but yeah, I mean, technically, kind of would be first drum teacher,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, we can
Exactly.
cut this
Yeah.
part, but yeah,
Uh,
so, but so what we were working on is brushes mostly, and man, his technique on it. He had a incredible teacher. The name is escaping me now. Back then, that he studied with as well, and we worked on some stuff from the Willie Coxon book, and
oh, yes, yes,
and
yes,
we
yes.
worked on some stuff from the Great American Book. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a piece on, I think, the Great American Book 109.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, solo number 109. Now just
Mm-hmm.
kind of just taking that solo, and just being like, okay, cool. And I learned it, the sticking, and I learned everything, and to a point where it was just kind of like under my hands and under my fingers, and it was just like, okay, cool. Now let me just orchestrate it and all that.
Yeah.
And in class we would do things like, okay, cool. Now add bass drums to all the accents, and then you start doing
Mm.
this and add your hide on two numbers. It's like now it's New Orleans. It's like, and I
Yeah.
was like, whoa, actually, what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like now that you do that, it's meant you can try it in different variation. You can try this groove. You can try this,
Right.
but just being able to actually take one thing and actually learn it and know it and be able to kind of orchestrate it and try it in different ways. So
Yeah.
those are kind of like the things that I've been working on. I'm wanting to learn even much more solos, since then.
Yeah.
I've been learning a couple, but like I'm also kind of trying to think about how long does it actually take me to actually have it under my fingers, and to a point where I'm sometimes not even
Mm.
reading it. Yeah, because for me, I could never do. Maybe it's something that I did not cultivate, but I could never do well with like transcriptions. But I could transcribe something, but like orally,
Mm.
and
Mm.
I'll hear the language, and like I'll learn the language on how the person pretty much went about the solo and how they played it, and I could duplicate that
Yeah.
language in my own way.
Got you. Got you. Yeah.
Not necessarily note to note,
Note
but
for
it would be,
note.
yeah, but it would be same feel, same kind of
Yes.
ideas and all that. So
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always sort of been sort of like
Excuse me.
more about like ideas and feel and language driven, and
Yeah.
instead of like I'm gonna transcribe note for note. But like I think there
Yeah.
is value in that, in being able to transcribe note for note as well.
I. Yeah.
And that's been things that I've been trying to do, and just like being able to actually get other uh, awkward sticking things and
Mm.
awkward
Mm.
postures and awkward things that I wouldn't generally do when I'm playing, because when I'm playing I'm not
Yeah.
thinking. But
Right.
there's certain facilities that as a drummer sometimes you don't think about when you're playing, where you could actually save yourself a second, if
Yeah.
you orchestrated this way, it would
Yes.
sound even much more greater than
Yeah. More fluid.
more fluid, yeah.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's actually where I'm at, just kind of like
Nice.
working on language and working on those kind of things. And
Yeah.
like actually great this semester, I got into two great ensembles that I auditioned for.
Nice.
Well, the one I didn't audition for, the one out and the Indian ensemble. And
Oh.
the Indian contemporary ensemble, and
Yeah. I
with
heard some of the videos.
conical.
That's some nasty
Yeah.
stuff, man.
So I'm just like,
Woo.
I was sitting down preparing for these auditions, and I'm just like, doing this conical stuff, taka, taka,
Mm,
taka, 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 just learning because you have to sing them as well. And I'm just like,
yeah.
this is actually so great because I'm practicing these and I'm kind of getting to know them and they're sitting in my head. And I had to orchestrate some of them in as a groove
Yeah.
and I'm just like, it is so much fun, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
part of it reminded me of my own language actually, I'm like,
Yes. Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
we could actually do derive a whole drum language with our with
The
Xhosa
own
or
syllables.
old syllables. It's like maybe
Yeah.
maybe when I write a book, I'll come up with
Exactly.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. I just got two more questions
Yes.
before we call it a day.
Okay, cool.
So let's take it to gear.
Hmm.
Um, we spoke a little bit about brushes and sticks.
Hmm.
What sticks do you play? What brushes do you play? Or what do you prefer?
What I prefer, I actually prefer the Vic Firth brushes. I use those Steve Gadd ones.
Yeah, love
Um,
those. Love
yeah,
those.
and I actually have quite like the ones that are sort of tilted at the end just a little bit. Let me actually also get my stick back.
You mean these? I got them. The heritage brush. Oh wait, the Gad one tips up a little bit.
Huh? Yeah. So I've got. Oh, they've even faded as well. Yeah, they're starting to fade.
Uh-huh.
But
These
yeah,
ones,
those are the ones.
love
Those are
them,
the.
love them,
I
love them.
love them. I love them a lot, man. And but also because back home was not as much as I was. I was a session musician in the jazz community. Sometimes we don't play much brushes and stuff, but also just because I had one way of an idea of how to play brushes, but like
Mm.
for some reason now being with this brush guru, man, it's just like it just changed it for me and I'm just like, whoo, I've always loved brushes, but like now I feel
Yeah.
like I can do way more with brushes.
Yes. Yes.
I've learned a few tricks and techniques and I'm just like, yeah. um, and for sticks, there's this drummer, man, from Sweden called Adam Ross. I don't know if you know
I've
him.
heard of Adam Ross.
You
Yeah.
heard of So he was in South Africa and he introduced me to this Vincent 5As.
Okay.
These Vincent 5As jazz sticks. Man, I actually I actually love the sticks, and not. I've always kind of like been a person that would pick up a pair and like sometimes just pick up a pair of those Vic Firth Nova sticks at home, or when I'm playing like a lot of pop stuff. But then
Yeah.
I would pick up. I also like using the SD Generals,
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
SD1 and the Peter Erskine signature stick. But for
Mm.
some reason, when he gave me these, there was just something about the stick that I don't know, maybe it was him that because he gave it to me, but like I really enjoyed them that when I got here I actually ordered myself a couple of them.
Yeah.
So I'm playing these sticks.
Nice.
Yeah, and for a couple of the stuff like pop related stuff, I'm playing the Extreme 5A.
Oh
It's
yeah.
yeah, it's
Oh
long.
yeah.
It's kind of longer, when I'm playing like
Yes.
some poppy stuff and some reggae stuff. It's longer, and I don't have to reach.
Uh-huh.
Always just
Slightly
yeah,
weighted forward more. It
exactly.
pops nicely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
You know
And
it. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, well, and I pretty much, as a jazz and a creative drummer, I kind of have to get things like these. I'm
Yeah.
wanting to get
Hmm.
more. Um, I'm wanting to get more. I left a lot of things back home as well, and like I want to get like monster brushes and things like that, just textural
Yes.
stuff and so forth. Yeah.
No, great. I was thinking also like I when I came here I was playing the ProMark Alvin Jones stick
Ah, yes.
or the 7A, and then they didn't have it at the stores nearby. But they did have like the Vic Firth 5A. So I thought Let me just try
Mm.
this, man. I've It's been about 3 years now. I always have a pair of those 5As, and
Mm.
I looked at the tip. Excuse me for a second. The taper of that Vincent. I don't know if you can see it.
Mm.
It's not. I mean, it's not too different,
No,
but
not at all, actually.
and then if the shank as well. It's like a quick yes,
Yep.
dude, on a ride cymbal.
It brings it out, hey? It brings out the note. It's just like exactly. That
I
is
had
why.
this 24-inch K light ride
Mm.
like a little while ago. I sold it, but it sounded horrible with the Alvin Jones,
Mm.
horrible with the Peter Erskine,
Yeah.
um, sounded terrible with the Modern Jazz Collection 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy made that cymbal sing, man. It made it sing. So I was, because I've never really played heavier sticks for like jazz stuff. It would always be
Mm.
like a Erskine,
Yeah.
or I think that the heaviest stick I had was a Gad or Dave Weckl that I'd use
Uh.
for jazz kind of playing. But these have grown on me. I really like them, and especially for low volume playing. I don't know
Mm.
if you found that, but the response is just nice. Like I love them. But my main stick is, excuse me again. For me, it's this little guy, the
Ooh,
Modern
what
Jazz
is?
Collection 2
Oh, what? I haven't actually. I've actually seen
this
this on the catalog of the
on
Victor.
cymbals. Oh, because
I
if you look at the Peter Erskine ride stick, it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
smaller tip there. It's the same shape tip, but just smaller.
It's just
And you're gonna hear. Do you still have that complex ride?
it's back home. I still
Ooh,
it's at
on that
home.
complex ride, my friend, you're gonna hear other things out of that cymbal.
Yeah, yeah.
I like for practicing. This is actually my go-to stick. I'm sorry, the
Yes.
MCJ. It brings stuff out of a cymbal that I love, 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 love. It took some getting used to on drums
Mm-hmm.
because with one of these, this is a more focused point and the rebound is quick, but with this less rebound, so it was a bit weird.
Mm.
But I love them, love them, love them on cymbals, man. And speaking of cymbals, what are you playing right now? What's your go-to ride cymbal at the moment?
So, you know, so at the moment I'm actually playing Minor Bisons. Uh,
Hey!
yeah, I'm playing Minor Bisons. I've got the Ralph Peterson signature nuance ride. Yeah, 21.
Oh,
With the four, I think it's 4 or 5 rivets,
uh-huh.
and I've got the. I actually, I actually bought that when I got here. I had a budget for equipment as well as part of
Mhm.
my scholarship fund. So I got the Mike Johnston pack,
Yes.
minor pack,
Yeah.
but then I took the pack and traded a couple of the symbols I didn't want from it. Yeah, so I've traded the ride and I traded the hi-hats and
Yeah.
got the dual Bison's 15-inch hats.
You had those in Cape Town too, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes. Those are beautiful hats.
Man, they just sound so great. So I'm actually enjoying this symbols, man. I love this like dry sound
Yeah.
um and back well, back home I actually loved Zildjian and I still do.
Mm.
I mix and match, but like to a point where I just got to a point where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna play whatever I actually feel
You
like
like,
I
yeah,
like. If I hear it
definitely.
sounds great, I'm gonna have I'll play that. So I
Yeah.
was playing this the complex ride
Mhm.
and the K flat ride
Ooh.
with the dual hats.
Yeah.
And when Adam Ross came to Cape Town, he had the Sabian what's the Jeff Hamilton signature ride.
Oh, yes. I love those.
The
I love
the
those.
crescent, yes, man. I was just like, I said to him after the gig, bro, when you're going home, you're gonna leave this one with me. You'll get
I
another
love those
one back
symbols,
home.
man.
But
Did you see what's his name's one? New Stanton Moore's one with the 5 hammer marks.
Ooh, no, I
Oh,
haven't. No,
oh,
no, 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 I've not seen that one.
oof.
It
Oh,
sounds
sorry.
good.
Sorry, it was when he was with Bosphorus, he had that, but Stanton was with Zildjian now too.
Yeah,
But those crescent symbols, man, they
they
are gorgeous.
they're
Gorgeous,
really good,
gorgeous.
man. I actually enjoy them. They are. So I mean, I was like, Adam, he gave it to me on a local South African rate, and he's endorsed by them back home. So he
You
can,
have that right?
yeah, it's back home, man. I wish I had it
Oh
here.
my
I
goodness.
wish I wish I had it here.
Ooh.
It's stored safely in my
Yes.
mate's garage.
Don't
So
don't tell anybody where it is.
no, I can't. I can't tell anyone where it is. Yeah. So that's pretty much on gear what I use, and um, well, drum kit. I had my drum kit stolen in
I
Cape Town.
remember.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a good Samaritan sponsored me to buy a new kit, and I went for the Yamaha Bebop kit.
Uh-huh.
Ah, man, the Raven Black, and which is the kit I'm playing here as well. I just
Nice.
just fell in love with it. I love that
Yeah.
the hardware is not heavy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
a gingy musician going up and down,
Yeah.
and the shells are not heavy as well. I just love that the system of Yamaha. It's just kind of easy
Yes.
and not heavy. That's one of the draws, and I love that these drums sound good.
Mm.
So I play that, and I have with that a Black Panther snare drum,
Ooh.
um, and it's a 14 6x5.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's good sound, man. It gives me hope when I'm playing reggae or I'm playing jazz stuff. So
Yeah.
I play that. At the moment here, I'm using a friend snare drum, which is from
Mhm.
his Tama drum kit. Yeah, it's a 14-inch snare. It's all in the tuning, really. You make it
Absolutely.
sound the way you want
Tuning
it,
in the touch.
tuning in the
Definitely.
touch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of gear, I haven't really thought about expanding, but I just made sure I got things that I actually just need to be able to do
Mm.
things right here. Yeah. But
That's
talk about
excellent.
if you want to talk about my dream drum kit, we can talk about that.
Let's hear. Let's hear.
Uh,
Yeah. Let's talk.
oh
Let's talk.
man, I would love the Yamaha Absolute Maple
Ooh.
custom kit, man.
Yeah.
I would love to have all the whole configuration 8, 10, 12, 13, 16, with two bass drums, 22
Whoa.
and
And 18.
18. I'd be
The,
a happy
the,
I'd be a happy person. Anyone who's watching this, just saying, you know.
that sounds like the Antonio Sanchez setup. Did you see
Mm,
that? Did you see that video with the Yamaha Phoenix? That
no.
white. My brother, you should watch that
No,
video.
that's the Yamaha advert.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. I saw a glimpse of it. Yeah,
Put headphones on. Watch that. It is unbelievable.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Nah, as I was saying, with drums, I really do love Yamaha. I
Yeah.
play other drums as well, but I just think about in terms of weight and everything, it's
Mm,
they
mm.
do it best for me.
Nice.
Other drum kits are great as well, and if I had the bucks, I would probably invest in a couple of things, but
Yeah.
Yamaha would probably be the first one.
You know, it's interesting when I was in Cape Town, I was playing vinyl.
Mhm.
Um, like
Yeah,
I
I'm
bought
playing.
a whole bunch of them over the years. I started with that Benny Greb set, and I
Yeah,
bought
yeah.
some stuff too. And then when I came here, um, I wanted to go vinyl, and I just couldn't get into that Mike Johnston set. Like I listened to it,
Ah,
I played that ride. They were just, you know what I think it was? Those Benny cymbals are really thin.
mm,
Like they're super thin, and the Johnstons are quite a lot heavier.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I couldn't get into that sound. And then specifically because I wanted a darker hat sound
Hmm.
and a darker ride sound, I went for the the Zildjian K Light box set, which was a
Mm.
15-inch hats, a 20-inch crash ride, 18-inch crash, and then a 24-inch ride. And just
Mm.
like you, I swapped out the crashes, I swapped out the ride. Now I've got a 20-inch carope, still got the 15-inch hats,
Woo.
and I've got a 21-inch Sound Lab
Yeah,
prototype thing. But it was before they started stamping them with Sound Labs.
yeah.
There's no model name on it. There's just a signature and the weight.
Ooh.
But I've been told it's a heavy complex model with Constantinople hammering
Mm.
by a guy that knows Zulgens.
I
So
was so to say, at Berkeley, all the practice rooms have symbols, and
yeah.
ensemble rooms. Well, there are a few rooms where you can actually swap out symbols and play your own, but
Ooh,
mostly you can play your own symbols in concerts and stuff. But most of the rehearsals, everything, there's symbols. Man, so I get this
yeah.
luxury of being able to actually book a practice room and there's this set of symbols, and I'm like, who? Maybe did I make a bad decision or something? Yeah, so I'm so undecisive right at the moment.
Yeah.
There's the Global Jazz Institute practice rooms. We did a couple of rehearsals there, and there's a Constantinople set, and I'm just like, oh my god, these, and I was like, should I do another trade again? I'm seriously, I can't decide at this point, but like,
It's yeah. Do you know what I also figured out? Because back home, because we're limited for choice, we
yeah,
kind of know the big brands and we know the famous series, and
yes,
then you
yes,
get what you get. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So when I got here and I started looking at buying secondhand symbols, then I started seeing cats are asking, "What's the weight? Can you
Hmm.
send me a profile picture?" Because then I started figuring out, oh, so like our favorite drummers, we'll see them play, for example, a monophonic ride,
Hmm.
right? And this guy's a minor artist. What we don't know is that cymbal has been customized, rehammered, relayed, shaven. So we see the cymbal and we go, he plays that model, I'm gonna buy me one of that. And then you
Exactly.
play it and it sounds nothing like it.
Yeah.
So that got me. I was like, okay. So, bro, I was in cymbal paralysis for months, going through audio files, listening with Apple headphones, then other headphones, then
Yeah.
listening to it in the car, like just because I'm trying to figure this out,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Unity, the choice, man,
The
it's
choice.
like,
I mean, one of my
it's
professors was saying that the Zildjian factories here in Boston somewhere,
yep,
and normally they do take students to go in and
yeah.
so they could see the whole process. I'm like, I'm hoping they could open sooner, man. I would love to
You
go.
gotta go,
Yeah,
you
I've
gotta
got to go
go.
and see that. I would love to see that, man. Yeah.
Hey, the other thing that got me also, and I think I learned a lot through this process was for my 40th birthday, I wanted to buy a new drum kit. And
Hmm.
so I like I had this little PDP kit because I've been playing PDP for a long time and I
Yeah.
knew the shells and so on. And so I started, just checking out drums, man. And the same story. It's like back home, there's Yamaha, and you get like two Yamaha models, and then you get the PDP models, and you get the Tamo
Yeah.
models, and that's kind of what you get. But when I started going through stuff, yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. Like probably for a good 8 months, I
Yep.
was on eBay, on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, Reverb,
Just,
all of them. Just
I mean,
looking at
I had to import the kit when I was back home when I had to buy a new kit. I didn't buy it at home, because
what?
I went to all the dealers and I called them and they were like, the markup was just ridiculous that I was like,
Yeah.
even if I
Oh,
bought it on my own and paid the taxes, I would still not pay that much.
still. Yeah.
So I imported the kit and I was like, it was cheaper to do that.
That's
So,
crazy.
they don't have much of the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it really is sad, and Also understandable. It's like half a planet away
Yeah,
from
yeah,
here where all the good stuff is made to there, you know. But like I think I like we said, you know, it's just the tuning and the touch. But man, there's just something about playing a great instrument that just you sound better. Like the ideas you have in your head
yeah,
come out a little bit easier because it's like you hear the sound you want, you know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, it's crazy with just the variety of gear that you can get. And the worst part is when so I had a lesson with a great drummer here in Dallas called Matt Young.
Hmm.
And I took my cymbals along because I was thinking of selling my complex ride.
Mm.
And I played the cymbal with my sticks and play, and he's like, "Oh, that's a nice cymbal. What is it?" I play it. He takes my sticks. He sits down. I'm standing right behind him. Cymbal sounds different. Completely. He's playing my sticks.
Yeah,
Same chair, same cymbal stand. Completely different.
different.
You
Yeah,
know?
man.
So I was like, nah. She was like, so how much you want for the cymbals? I was like, nah, not for sale. Not for
Yeah,
sale
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so it really is cool to be able to really get gear that you know specifically sounds like you want, and
yeah.
the choice of being able to research and find something that you really like, you know, and be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold on to
And
this.
something that actually kind of complements what you play, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that complements
Because
what you play. Yeah.
because like so at one stage in Cape Town, I probably had like 9 drums, like a 6-piece drum kit, 2 or 3
Mm.
different snares, and like 8 or 9 cymbals.
Mm.
Now I have a 4-piece kit, 3 ride cymbals, a pair of hi-hats, and that's it.
That's
That's it. I don't
yeah.
I don't even have I don't even have another cymbal stand to put the third ride up. And I don't even want it because
Yeah.
I've like, you know, I've chosen the gear that I play,
Yeah.
and every couple of weeks I hear something new, like in the cymbal, you know, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like I'm sure what I've the Ralph Peterson ride was one of the cymbals on my short list because somebody here
Man.
has it too, and he has it with 3 rivets, and oh,
Bro, it's
gorgeous.
actually actually the ride that I'm playing, the ride symbol that I'm playing, it belongs to him. It's his. So the one professor, you know, I actually wanted to study with him when he got here, and sadly enough, he left us, and
Yeah,
I didn't even get a chance to see him. So there's one
sure.
professor that runs a drum shop that pretty much kind of like helps students, international students who come in and need a drum kit. They'll have a drum kit for the semester to do things and all that, and then they
Whoa.
either resell it back, or some students buy kits, and then when they have to go, they don't have the time to ship it home and whatnot, and they just
Right.
end up selling it to him. So
Yeah.
he's got this trading shop, you know, it's like a really
Cool.
nice pawn shop for drums.
Yeah.
And so the family had given him some of the cymbals that he played to sell because he had a lot from Meinl. You know, they sent him
Yeah.
a lot
They
of
send
stuff,
you tons.
tons of cymbals. Yeah.
Oh man.
So it's a great symbol to have. I wish it came with his chops though.
I was gonna. Is there any of his sound left in there? Any of the great Ralph
I
Peterson
mean,
vibe in it?
the art of war, man. You know.
Don't even. Don't even.
Yeah.
So Unity, one last question. Sorry, I know that I said the
Yeah.
2 previous ones would be the last one. But you're having a special benefit concert, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to
Yeah.
tell people about the concert?
Yeah, yeah. So now that I'm here at Berkeley, right, I'm actually first and foremost being able to actually come here and to realize this dream is through the help of my main sponsor back in France called the Great Hospitality. We are
Awesome.
friend Thomas Gamia that believes in my dream and of being here, but unfortunately. They didn't anticipate this whole COVID thing dragging out this long,
Mm.
and the business really took a knock, and therefore are unable at the moment to continue supporting me further. So I'm on a partial scholarship with Berkeley, which is like 8,500 per semester, and it doesn't really cover anything. I got
Yeah.
I got accepted 2018, man, and I kept on deferring it because it was just like, I don't have the bucks,
Yeah.
and eventually only last year it came about, and when I had a
Excellent.
breakthrough. And so now I'm pretty much just trying to raise some money to continue this fall.
Mhm.
And ideally, what I'd be looking for is like a long-term sponsor for the entire 4 years of me being here.
Yeah.
But like at the moment, the goal is just full semester, and
Right.
within the fall, I'll be
Excuse me.
still looking for other funding avenues and other things. But
Yeah.
I've got a crowdfunding campaign going out there. It's Lumanyano Mz, and you can find it on my website as well at unitymz.com.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'll be doing a benefit concert on the 6th of September, Monday, Labor Day, with some great musicians, Kira
Mhm.
Mozum, bass player from Austria, and
Oof.
Tomas Zabonski on piano from Lithuania,
Uh-huh.
Amari Cabral on guitar from Dominican Republic,
Ooh.
and I have Yuval Agam from the United States on tenor sax. I've got my lovely
Man.
wife on a couple of tunes on voice, and we have a friend. I've got a friend, Kara Snetlegger from South Africa as well, on a couple of tunes as guest artist. So yeah,
Nice.
I'm doing this
Great
concert,
lineup.
and yeah, man, it's gonna be great. I'm playing some original music as well as some South African standards,
Mm.
and it's going to be a. I'm hoping that the turnout will be great, and the proceedings are all for the cause towards my Berkeley tuition and living
Yeah.
expenses. So yeah, that's what I'm busy with at the moment. And if anyone knows anyone out there that could help assist in whatever way, please reach out to myself or Andre.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely. Definitely.
yeah,
I've shared the link that you shared on Facebook
yeah, yeah,
to my Facebook profile, and when we post this, I'll definitely share that again, and
yeah,
I'll keep posting it up.
yeah.
And will the concert be streamed?
So I'm planning on streaming it, but I'm still trying to sort out the logistics of that.
Right.
But if it's not streamed, it's going to be definitely recorded, and I'll probably put it up probably a couple of days after, just after doing some sound, some mixing of it.
Yeah.
It is going to be. I'm going to record it on video. Hopefully, we are able to stream it. Just sorting out those logistics, but it will be up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
I
so
know
much
you're
for
a very,
having
very
me.
busy guy. And thank you to your wife for loaning you to me for a little while. I'm sure you've got stuff to do there. But it was great catching up with you. I
Yeah,
haven't
man,
spoken to you in a
likewise.
while, and fingers crossed. I'm sure you're going to meet the requirements to
Yeah,
continue your studies.
yeah,
I'm sure
man.
there's somebody that's going to, unlock that magic door.
Yeah,
And if not, we just keep knocking. We just
yeah,
keep
no,
knocking.
definitely, definitely. Thank you so much for having me, and it's been great chatting to you too, man. And I'm definitely coming to Dallas
My
sometime
pleasure.
soon. Yeah, we need to make it happen. Yeah,
Absolutely. We will.
yeah,
We're going to do it. We'll do it.
yeah. Okay.
Speak to you soon, man.
Cheers.
Cheers, Unity. Bye bye.